So, good afternoon. Welcome back to my channel on this muggy Wednesday afternoon. And much like the weather, Manchester United's fan base is feeling quite muggy yet still. And it comes with the supposed situation that we are sat on our fingers watching rivals on the incline and our own club on the decline. And whose fault is that? Who's to blame for Manchester United's decline compared to rivals' inclines? Now, the rivals' inclines is coming after the reports in the most recent hours, most recent days, that every club is got transfers they're focusing on. Everyone else is making signings. I mean, Liverpool have got their first signing through the door. They've got other interests on the table. So even if they don't do anything for the rest of the transfer window, as it stands, they've had a better transfer window than Manchester United. We've got Tottenham, who have confirmed their new goalkeeper signing. They have interest on a younger centre back from Wolfsburg to add to their defensive frailties, to strengthen their defensive frailties. But they've also got pretty much a here we go on James Maddison. So they're fixing problems with their squad and improving their squad for next season's challenge. You've got Arsenal, who have already signed Kai Havertz, which in and of itself is pretty much is quite a terrible signing with all things considered. Please don't try and spin this any other way, because you can't spin a Kai Havertz signing in any capacity unless he literally proves everybody wrong, and I mean everybody of logical train of thought. If he proves all of these people wrong and starts scoring and bagging assists for just complete fun, not a single hell to be given. And they're also supposedly now, as it is breaking, they are now the out-and-out favourites for Declan Rice, as Manchester City have pulled out of the Declan Rice race. Question is, were Manchester City even serious about bidding? Because we also heard from, I can't remember what her first name is, but Aluko, Emi Aluko, I'm going to call her Emi Aluko, had suggested that that's part of the negotiation tactics to try and get a signing across the line by invoking or manipulating other clubs to allegedly put in improved bids to up your own club's bid in order to secure a player signing. So maybe that's, maybe she's actually, maybe it's truth that she's come out with there. Maybe it is, considering that Manchester City's bid supposedly might even be the case that Man City didn't even entertain the idea for Declan Rice. Maybe it was literally just solely paper talk, and they've got other targets in mind that they're just waiting for the players to become available in the moments. So Arsenal are doing moves. Chelsea, I think, are about to start getting serious on the Caicedo business. They're not going to wait for us to dither around with the Mason Mount stuff. They're going to get on with it and start pushing towards signing Moises Caicedo, which is a player that I believe Man United desperately need, because we do need a defensive midfielder desperately, really badly, because our midfield is seriously lacking. Casemiro or not, does not matter. We are seriously lacking in the defensive midfield aspects. Literally, we have one midfielder who can do a defensive job. No one else at the club can. No one else. Not one other person can do a defensive midfield job. Maybe you stick Martinez in there, but why are we taking centre backs out of the defence to stick him midfield? Because the manager wasn't back properly. Right? Why? Why was the manager not back properly? Why are we back to square one yet again? Why are we yet again being faced with the situation where our manager is not being backed? I mean, even Newcastle, if they sign Tonali, they're already going to do a cut price deal for Livramento. I mean, Jesus Christ, Newcastle will be in a better position than us. They arguably already are. They're on the up. They could overtake us next season. They could easily. They could easily overtake us next season. Tottenham could overtake us. Chelsea could overtake us. I mean, Chelsea, they're going to have to be a little bit of late bloomers in the transfer window. They've already had a pre-negotiated arrival in Nkunku. They're about to get serious on the Moises Caicedo. They'll probably get another 2-3 players in relatively easily, I reckon. They could. They realistically could. Manchester City have already signed 2 players. They've got Vardial for their centre backs, young 21 years old from Leipzig. Already signed Kovacic, confirmed. Made the announcement. I mean, even Liverpool, they'll probably get on with doing some other business when the targets arrive, when the targets appear, when the suitors show themselves. Whereas we will keep telling everyone we can't sign anyone. Why? Because of FFP, because of the takeover, because of this, because I'm useless, said John Murta. Because I'm useless. Because the Manchester United board is completely and utterly inept at doing their jobs. Completely and utterly inept. If FFP is a problem, okay, then sell players. What's the problem? Sell players. Is our wages an issue? Okay, cheap sell prices then. Half the actual transfer values, half them. I don't care. Get these fuckers off of our wage bills. Get these fuckers out of our club. We don't need them here. You need to make signings to improve Ten Hag's team, to further and better Ten Hag's project, to back your manager that you appointed. So sell the players. I don't care for how much it is, sell them. There's a whole list it's reported there's a whole list of players that you can sell. So sell them. Sell them. You've got, this is what's hilarious. You've got Eric Bailly apparently listed for 2 million. That's your asking price for Eric Bailly. Where's the clubs coming in for him then? The guy is £2 million off of essentially being free. If it really mattered that much, fucking Ryan Reynolds could stick a bid in for Eric Bailly and realistically sign him. Of course, he's not going to do that because why would Eric Bailly want to go all the way down to League Two? He probably has the finances to afford that transfer. He's that dirt cheap. So why are you not selling him then? It's like this is what's worrying me is that people are starting to make the next season 11s, including the players that we should have sold, not just this summer, but the summer previously as well. We're including players in the next season supposed 11s. Why are we doing that? Why do we have to do that? Why do we have to try and find a way to rate absolute shit? Why do we have to do that? It's complete and utter joke. It really, really is. And honestly, it's making me more mad by the minute with talking about this. And we've had more releases from Samuel Luckhurst as well, who started talking about the ownership situation at Manchester United. Even Patrice Evra is talking about the takeover. Fucking everyone is talking about the takeover. And people talking about, £120 million we have to spend. Apparently, £120 million. Are you sure? Are you sure? Because, the finances that came out, apparently people did the maths for it and said, well, no, technically, based off of the revenues you've generated, your record revenues, you have about £250 million to play around with. But apparently all the other sources are also continuing to say, well, about 120 million. And then you'll have more if you sell your players. Even even if we have 120 million pounds, regardless of player sales, we have not even chosen to entertain spending a penny out of the 120 million. We haven't even entertained the idea. Apparently, there's an initial offer to go out for Andre Onana. An initial offer. What are you planning there to be bids number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6? Are you planning to do another Mason Mount here with a goalkeeper? Like, seriously, what is going on with this club? It's not even worded like that. Apparently, from FB F Biasin, I don't even know how that's pronounced, but even so, MUFC's official offer for Andre Onana will arrive soon. When soon? Does that mean August 31st? Because that could be soon. We know that soon was one of the words described with the takeover process, and that was probably mentioned right back to January time. And soon, according to them, is probably about 7, 8 months. So maybe it's the same thing. Maybe soon means next season. Soon means next summer. Oh, Andre Onana coming to the Old Trafford Theatre of Dreams real soon. But then we don't sign him until, say, next season. That's what that could mean. It could mean that. So basically, Samuel Luckhurst, what's Samuel Luckhurst saying here? Right. So this is via the United Stands Twitter feed. So do be sure to go drop them a follow if you want to keep up to date with other United information. While figures at MUFC insist the Premier League's profitability and sustainability rules limit their spending power in the transfer market, external sources maintain the biggest obstacle to Erik ten Hag's efficiently strengthening his squad remains the club's owners. So, I mean, Samuel Luckhurst is, shedding more exposure and light on the very glaring issues that this club is faced with. I mean, all the rival fans could not care less. They still believe, oh, it's the Norwich Scarves. They'll only get the Norwich Scarves out when they're losing. Oh, they'll only protest when they're losing. But if they win, they don't say anything. It's because most of the people are focused on the team at that point. But there's still people protesting. We've been protesting since 2005. Since 2005, we've been protesting. Protests have not gone away. They've still been there. They've been on and off because the situation can go from bad to good to okay to bad to piss poor to okay to piss poor again. And seriously, it's when things are okay, you try and develop a tolerance to it. But then when things go to shit again, you're back into the depths of hell, and you're desperate to find a resolution to the problems. So just continuing on with Samuel Luckhurst here, the Glazers have never invested a single penny into MUFC since they completed their takeover in May 2005. They have not invested a single penny. Old Trafford has not seen a single renovation under their approval, under the Glazers' approval, not a single renovation. The plans, when they extended during the Glazers' ownership, was pre-agreed before they took over. Those plans were already in place before they took over. So Old Trafford is literally the only work Old Trafford has ever had done to it is the movement of a couple of seats, change to a seating plan, and a paintbrush with some red paint. That's it. That's all. Maybe the installation of some Wi-Fi, which took them bloody years to do as well. Couldn't even be bothered to do that. The simplest things. MUFC sources have suggested they have a transfer budget of about 120 million, supplemented by any player sales. Which, as I said before already, 120 million pounds you can spend today. You can spend it today, regardless of player sales. Why have you not entertained the idea? Doesn't make any sense to me. Lazy. Very, very lazy board. Very, very lazy board. A well-placed source says upfront fees are a current issue. MUFC refused to meet Chelsea's demand on an initial fee of £58 million for Mason Mount with £7 million in add-ons. So we didn't even want to pay £58 million. Didn't even want to pay them. Now this is shocking. This is shocking. MUFC also have a number of historic transfer fees to pay off. As of March, they owed clubs £308 million in transfer fees. So we are such cheapskates. It's no wonder that most boards, if not all boards, of every other club in the world despise us. They hate doing business with us because they know, and word travels fast in the football network. Word travels very fast. So the clubs that we still owe money to have probably told everybody, oh, don't, be careful about Manchester United. Be careful about those guys because they don't like to pay off all of their whole transfer fees. So the reputation, right, to being played for fools is just a preliminary. Just a preliminary. But the reputation that we rip people off by not paying a lot of those transfer fees. So that's probably what's going on here, is people are charging us extortionate fees because they know we might not pay all of it off. So if we actually had a clean record of actually paying transfer fees and deals, whatever, in its entirety, and actually deliver on our word, perhaps we wouldn't have half of this situation of being charged extortionate fees, because half the people know, well, half the people that we'd be dealing with would know, well, at least Man United, they'll pay what they say they're going to pay, regardless if it is overpriced. But with some of the previous transfers that we've had, if we're not paying all the money that we are owing, like we owe to other clubs, of course, every other future business deal is going to be completely muddied. You might as well not even entertain the idea of going to do deals, because why should anyone open the door to you? Why should anyone open the door to the negotiation rooms for you? Why should they do that? Because you might not pay. You might scam a club. Why are Manchester United scamming clubs? The fuck are we doing that for? Seriously, it's just damaging any future proceedings, and regardless of ownerships, right? You're damaging any future proceedings as long as we've got this board at this club. So how's this, right? How's this? MUFC, right, have £260 million available on their revolving credit facility, drawn down from £300 million. Leaving £40 million unpaid on their credit facility means they are needing cash, a financial source said. Right, and whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? The owners. The owners. The owners. They oversee all of what goes on at Manchester United. They are the umbrella. Everything that's underneath it is entirely their responsibility. So this club being run into the ground, like, we are starting to see finances seizing up. The club is coming to a halt. So even if we are filthy rich compared to other clubs much further down the table, that money can disappear like that. All of that could just get wiped clean. Could disappear, all gone. And it would only happen with this ownership, where their stupid business practices are costing this club big time. And if these situations don't get solved, because I mean, we're already about £750 million in debts. That's just debts. But we also owe other debts to other clubs. This is actually mental. This is crazy. But the business practices of this club mean that our financial situations won't be getting better in any capacity. They're only going to get worse. Because everyone else is looking at the ownership situation and going, well, actually, we're not going to push to putting money in your pocket anymore. So the finances will continue to get worse unless the ownership situation gets resolved so people can actually start improving cash flows into Manchester United. So that way, it won't even be instantly. It will take a little bit of time before you start to see rates or graphs or anything start to go into inclines or start to see plus or figures going into the green. It won't even be that instantly in terms of the cash flows. The ownership can stick in billions on the very next day. So that would be a lifeline. But in terms of prolonged expenditure, in terms of the prolonged expenditure, we're in the shit. We're absolutely in the shit. We need, like, it's not a case, right? And for anyone who's pro Sir Jim, we don't need Sir Jim. You want Sir Jim. But this club, to survive, to keep its doors open, needs, not wants, needs Qatar. Because if you go pro Sir Jim, forget about supporting Manchester United in about 20, 30 years, because it won't exist. It will do a Berry Town. It will disappear. Poof, gone. That's what happens. Because you mess around, you get into debt with people, get into debt with other clubs. Those debts don't go away because that's the thing that the Glazers just don't like to do. They don't like paying people. You see it with some of their properties in the States. Apparently, they've got unpaid debts there as well. The Glazers are professional debt collectors, but they're not the sort of debt collectors where you go around and collect people's debt. No, they're professional debt collectors because they like to stack up their own debt. They enjoy it. It's like a sport to them. How much money can we sit on top of that we owe to people? Like, it's almost like a sport to them. Honestly, it's absolutely disgraceful. But anyways, I'm not going to stick around and continue ranting like this. It's so damning. I mean, you might as well go have a look at some of these financial figures yourself. It really is screwed up. It's completely screwed up. So I've got to wrap it up before I absolutely lose my shit. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about the whole situation, and whether you think we're going to be left behind by every other club in this league, and whether you think, whether you think that we're in the shit, whether you think we should be optimistic. Let me know what you think. Do be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'm gonna go cry myself to sleep for the afternoon at this rate. But the optimist in me has got to stay on top of things and smile. You should smile some more. Yeah, fuck that. Anyways, I'm out.